millimeter. You got 4 individuals.
You can make it here in America if you're willing to try.
I'm with you, the American people.
A new world order. A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations.
Now we are in danger of being swamped by Muslims.
G'day and welcome to the Cunspiracy podcast. My name's Josh Wade, and on this week's episode, I'm talking to Nik Mirkovic from Hi Smile. Hi Smile is a dental teeth whitening brand that took the world by storm. There are a bunch of young blokes, basically my age, 22 and 21, 22, and they basically have a business that's worth millions of dollars now, all through social media marketing. This is the episode for the entrepreneurs. So if you're into that, if you have any idea, it doesn't even have to be fucking teeth whitening. If you have a business or an idea that you want to set up and you want to figure out what sort of mindset you need, this is the fucking episode for you. Massive shout out to everyone that's supporting us on Patreon. We want to thank you for that. If you do join our Patreon, you've only got to donate $1, $2, $3 a month if you want. You get to join a private Facebook group where I do a live stream every week, chat to you guys. You can contact me. So we really appreciate it if you jump over there. If you do enjoy the episodes, it helps us make it and put all this fucking shit together. If not, and you just want to say g'day, go over and follow me on Instagram. I'd love to chat to you there. At Josh Wade with 2 E's. Same with Snapchat or Twitter is at Josh Wade Comedy. I'm always easily contactable there, so come say g'day to me, give us a follow, and yeah, just like, you know, give me attention. If you want to listen to the podcast on iTunes or Android, the links will be down below. Leave us a review, say g'day, say that you enjoy the podcast, please, because my mum fucking hates it. Take care and enjoy the episode. G'day and welcome to the Cunspiracy podcast. My name's Josh Wade. Today I'm here with Nik Mirkovic.
Hey Josh, how are you?
I said it right, did I?
Yeah, that was perfect.
Good.
Nailed
I
it.
was
First
freaking out.
take.
I had to have a Valium before the show because I was seriously. I was that.
It looks like a bit of a tongue twister.
Yeah, it is.
And you never know these days.
No, you don't. You don't. Where are you from? Where is that?
I was
from?
born here. My last name, my surname's from Serbia, so all my family, my background's Serbian.
Yep.
I was born here. Grew up speaking Serbian. I understand it now. I can speak a little bit, but yeah, sort of faded out.
So you're first generation. Your parents grew up in Serbia?
Yeah, they grew up in Serbia, moved when they were really young. So father was 12, mother was, she was a newborn, so maybe she was like a few months old.
Right, yeah. So you really do have a Gary Vaynerchuk story, don't you?
A slight, I reckon there's a slight touch.
Yeah, okay.
Just a bit younger.
Yeah, good. So we're here on the Gold Coast. You, I suppose, let's preface, you're the reason why there's so many girls out there posting the fucking teeth whitening.
The teeth
kits.
whitening. Yeah, myself and Alex, we co-founded Hi Smile. So we're both sort of like the reasons behind that. We're the major driving force, I guess you could say. So there was obviously products out there, heaps of teeth whitening products, heaps of oral hygiene products, but no one was making it sexy, appealing, along with a product that actually works. So people were doing one or the other, and I think we combined the two and sold the lifestyle, sold the brand, and yeah.
Yeah, well, it worked. It worked. It worked so well, I think, that it almost became not a joke, but it was sort of like you entered an industry at the start where, you know, you saw a space in the market with, I suppose, what are the other ones, like the detox teas and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, the skin care products, the cosmetic industry, I suppose. Yeah,
and no one else was touching that, and you sort of. I know from not even knowing you, but for that sort of how it worked, you sort of went for, you were smart. You started out with sort of your, what would you call it, lower tier social, almost starting as giving the cool kids the product in the local town or whatever. They might have a couple of thousand followers, but starting it from there, almost like high school. Like, remember when the cool kids would wear like fucking volleys and then
slinging tickets or wearing the volleys or even the pawpaw ointment, the chicks would rep that in the top pocket. Like, that was a thing. It's like, how do you get the product in the face of the audience? It's like, when you don't have the money, you can't compete with the likes of Colgate, Oral-B from day one. It's like, get it to the cool kids. Get it to the people who can spread the message for you as well. So.
I suppose that's the most fascinating thing about it, is you got something into a market that people would be terrified to go into because it's just so oversaturated, yet you prevailed, and you know, now you've got all this going. So today I wanted to talk to you about not just Hi Smile, but just where you think business is going in the 21st century in relation to social media. Let's start off, like, as a kid, what did you do? What were your hobbies?
Yeah, so as a kid...
You obviously weren't into teeth whitening as a fucking girl.
I wasn't into teeth whitening until back end 2014. That's when it sort of kicked off, my little bit of a hobby and passion for that. But Yeah, my passion and my hobbies from a young age have always been football, or in this country, obviously soccer. So I've always played since the age of 3, 4. Like I've always kicked the ball with my grandfather in the backyard. He's trained me up. I played that all the way up. I've still played it today, but I played until about 17. I took it really, really serious. I finished school. I just knew school wasn't for me and university wasn't for me. That's a discussion that I had with my parents early on. It got a bit easy as I got through year 11 and 12 and explained that to them, and obviously had a chat. Obviously at the start for any kid to tell their parents, listen, I want to become a professional football player. I don't want to go to university. It's a bit of a thing and a bit much, but slowly but surely they believe me. They helped me get over to the UK. So I trialled with, for anyone who knows football, I trialled with Celtic in Scotland. So I was there in the UK for just over a month with Celtic, the youth team. It was good. It was a really, really good experience. What I expected. I trained up for it. I was ready for it. I played well and I was good over there. I don't think I was better than what they had, and that's what basically what they told me. So I took the feedback. Had to make a decision. Do I continue to try to pursue my football career, come back, potentially break into the A-League, or do I keep it as a hobby, keep it as a thing that I still enjoy and still love, and put my passion into something where I think I can become one of the greatest in the world at? And I thought that was business. So at the age of 19, myself and Alex were already family friends for about 5-6 years before that. We had a few ideas, looked at Instagram, scrolling through, like you said before, seeing all the chicks sharing these products. It's like, you know what, there is one industry that has potential. It's not just a trend, it's something that's going to be around for a very, very long time in the sense of teeth whitening and oral hygiene. And it's a market that is getting tapped. It is slightly tapped now. There are competitors, there's always going to be competitors there and brands there, but they're not doing it the way that we think you can do it to get it to a company of the size of Nike, Apple, like not just a company, but a brand. So that's where that sort of came, a little spiel about how I started and then got into the teeth game.
Sure. Okay. Now this is what I want to touch on, because I relate to you very much on the, when you finish school and basically having this ridiculous passion. I had a similar thing where I wanted to do stand-up comedy, and my parents were like, well, that, and I was like, I knew that I wasn't going to go to university. There was no way. I hated school enough as what it was. I felt like I didn't have a chip on my shoulder at school, but I felt like I already knew enough to enter the real world by this point. I just wanted to start making money and work. So, I mean, and I think that's totally okay. What would you say to a kid that's going through a similar thing? Because you don't need to go to university. I don't recommend not going, but either way, it's
100%. I'm the same as you. People ask me, do you recommend going to uni? Do you think it's a waste of time? Uni is not a waste of time. School is not a waste of time. I do not believe anything is a waste of time. It's how you take it and how you best learn. For me personally, and I'm assuming that's the same for you, for me, it's rolling up the sleeves, getting stuck in, making the mistakes, and then whatever it spits out is the final product, and then I can constantly go put myself through that machine. It's how thick-skinned are you to take the loss. A lot of people aren't willing to take the loss, which in turn makes it a bad decision to go out and wing it and go out on your own. So maybe you need a mentor, or you need someone who you can learn from, whether that's university, school, or an individual person or something, or going into the workforce and learning through that method before you actually go out and do something on your own. Or that might be your passion, to work your way up through the job system and become one of the highest paid employees at one of the big 5 companies in the world. So everyone's got their different goals, everyone's got their different ambitions, and everyone's also got their different strengths and weaknesses in life. So I think the most important thing is having that self-awareness in yourself and knowing where your strengths lie. Do you learn best from reading, writing, understanding, and doing a bit of practical there, or completely going practical over theory and getting it done, learning from the losses, and then seeing what it sort of spits out? I
sort of just realized then that I'm solely practical. I hated theory 100%. in any sense. Like, I failed drama and acting. Like, that was the only thing I was good at, but I failed it because I just
couldn't do the
fucking
theory.
Hated the theory of it. I had no interest. I didn't really understand either the idea of learning other acting techniques when I was like, these people only picked it up themselves through their own practical use, so I'll find my own way of doing it. And that's the same with sort of filmmaking and everything. It's almost a guerrilla
I think
style.
the best start on their own by picking up the camera from the age of 5, 6, 7, and just being obsessed with those little Kodak cameras that spit out like the cheap cheap little cameras that spit out,
Yep.
or the Polaroids or whatever, spit out the basic film. And it's like, that's how you grow. You don't start by going to uni and picking, well, that's not how I start going to uni, picking up the camera, learning, understanding, getting them to teach me the ways, putting it down on paper, and then sort of going out and shooting after the fact. For me, it was always the opposite. Pick up that camera, take the photo, see what was working, see what the others were doing as well in the field, and judge what they were doing. And then, put it out.
Do you think, so I watch a lot of Gary Vee, and I can tell that obviously what you guys are doing now, you're sort of going down a path of, you have the business, but you're also trying to build your personal brand, which is a major thing going into, the next 20, 30 years of where we are all going. Because I suppose that then opens up the board to not just High Smile for you, but anything.
Yeah.
He does talk a lot about, and what I've really taken from him, the main thing is patience. Do you think we have a problem in our generation of people wanting the BMW and all this ridiculous shit without any sort of real work?
100%. I agree with that and what you said and what Gary says about patience being the key. Like, everyone notices it within themselves. You want that thing now. And the reason is because the technology that we've got makes it such a fast-paced society. If I want to know any facts, forget about school. If I want to know any facts or any sum, you give me a math equation, put it into Google or put it in the calculator, and I get it in that second. So that high-paced society only leads to, and especially social media. Social media has massive benefits. I'm a massive advocate for social media. I think it brings us closer together, connects the world. So many positives, but the negative is, if you don't have the correct mindset, is you see, for example, myself and Alex, where we are at right now, and we might have a nice car, we might live in a nice place or buy some nice clothes, but that's who we are now. That's not where we started. Like, where you start, a lot of people miss the starting point. It's like, oh, that person's driving a BMW, Mercedes, or a Ferrari, Lamborghini, or they've got a nice watch or nice clothes. It's like, yeah, they've got that as a result of X, but everyone misses the result of X and goes straight to the answer.
They do a lot. And I hear sort of Gary and other people talk about where his career started. Like, he's like, really, it started when he was like 10 or 11 selling lemonade on the street as a business, as a business mind. I've been making videos on YouTube since I was 12. None of them were good, but from 12 years old, I was starting to learn a craft of not just video making, but personality and personal branding and everything like that. I suppose because you're doing like the moment with High Smile, you have to sort of tap into that market though of beauty and sort of, I wouldn't say unrealistic expectation, but you
like
are
a bit vanity and
of course,
things like that image.
And I'm all for it. I'm in a fucking de-stress t-shirt, and I'm hoping I
get de-stress tees,
a fake gold watch. I'm all about looking like vain as shit. But do you think we need to pull back on that a bit? Do you think like the side effect is worse than the pros of the whole thing, or how do you see it?
It's a person by person case, but I do see I definitely do see the issue, because I don't know if it's the majority, but I could very well quote that it could be the majority that are taking the negative side of it and taking the negative of the vanity products. It's like you've got things, lip fillers for girls to make themselves look pretty in their eyes or in someone else's eyes, or to look like the celebrity or the superstar. And I think it's fine to look up to people and to aspire to be something. But I think what can get carried away is if you try to become someone, then become someone else, you almost lose your own mask, and you're always replacing a mask with someone else's mask. And I think that's where it all lies. So I think it all comes back to a mindset and questioning yourself and being true to yourself. And it's a tough thing. It's not something we could sit here for days, and I don't think we could come to a conclusion as to how you can truly be yourself. But I think it's important for me, the way I do it best is by keeping my circle of friends and my family small. No one really gets into that circle. It's very hard to break that circle of trust, because I think that's where a lot of the cause and effect can happen. Obviously you see daily things on Instagram. If you watch the news, a lot of negative things on the news, a lot of positives as well. Facebook as well. People just chatting, general chatter. People are going to tell you this podcast is shit. People are going to tell you this podcast is the best thing they've ever seen. So I think the importance is for me to have that circle that I trust, so that I can always get what I believe is the truth. And if once you got that circle, whether it is the truth or it isn't, it doesn't really matter because that's your circle of truth. And that's your circle of principles that you live by. So I think the people that you keep closest to you are the most important, because it's like, for me, people, like, the one question I sometimes get is like, you seem so confident, like, how are you so confident? I wasn't always confident. I was always, usually like, I always kept it to myself. I was shy. And what gave me the confidence was the day that I realized that keeping that small circle, only listening to taking in their advice. If someone out externally tells me I'm doing a really good job, of course I'll thank them, but I don't really get emotionally hit. I don't allow it to really emotionally affect me, because that moment I accept the compliment, the moment they give me a negative feedback, I must accept it as well. That's just the way your body reacts. It's like, I've accepted that person, it becomes reality. So it's like, keep that circle small, the true circle. Interact with others, obviously get feedback and take it into your own circle, and then understand how that's going to work for your life. But that's the way I think.
I hold 100, that is to me 110% the truth, because I also had a problem with not just like my inner circle, but it was very open. I was almost desperate for friends, or just to be accepted. And I think a lot of comedians, at least, the whole job of a comedian is you get acceptance through laughter, and normally that goes back to some weird childhood thing where you felt like your identity was through humor, and everyone has their own different thing. You were the sporty guy, obviously, and you judge yourself on how people react to what you're good at. And I used to have a lot of problems with taking criticism. I'd get not pissed off, but I'd become smart back at it. But it also really, like, it was venom. It was venom to me. And what you just said then, I think if there's already one bit of advice everyone should take, it's that, because only recently, probably in the last 12 months, I've done the same thing where I've gone, right, I have a core group of friends, which might be three or four, plus my mum and some family. And other than that, I just can't let anything else
100%.
in, because it's just not productive. So I almost feel like when I hear people say, do you feel like run your own race almost?
I agree 100%. You've got, like, people say, and when I make this statement, people go back and they go, it's being selfish. But I think at the root of it all, if there was an instruction manual, the first thing that you have to tick off is this going to be of benefit to you? Is this going to make you feel good, make you feel happy? Because if it's not, and you're doing it for somebody else, in turn, it's not going to make you feel happy. And in turn, the offcast of that and what comes off of that is a negative outcome for most likely the other person, because you're not going to feel good, and in the long run, that's going to make them feel worse. So make yourself happy, make yourself feel good before you can reciprocate and give that off to others, because then you're obviously going to lead a much happier life for yourself. You're going to benefit a lot of other people as well.
Do you believe in luck?
Do I believe in luck? Luck is a thing. I do think luck does exist, but I don't think, how do I put it? I never focus on luck. Like, I always do everything I can. So for example, I'll give you I've never played the lotto, and I don't think I ever will.
I was just about to say, I don't.
I never play it. I never will. And the reason is, I tell my parents, I tell my close friends, the reason I will never play the lotto, I swear on my life, I have no interest in someone today walking in and giving me $1 billion. I have no interest, because money is not the thing. I would love for High Smile, and I know it will become $1 billion company. But that's because I made it $1 billion company. It's not because someone walked in here, gave me a check for $1 billion, and then I'm all cruisy. I would probably revert to the opposite. I would become super negative, super depressed because of that. So I do not play the lotto. I refuse to play the lotto. Luck games, obviously you play them here and there just for a bit of fun with mates, like little bets or scissors, paper, rock and things like that, just to muck around. But I never do anything that revolves luck.
And I suppose a lot of that, if you end up making, if you're betting on sport or something like that, you might make, I don't know, $100 or so. It's not enough to, you're not winning a ridiculous amount of money. And I suppose statistically, I would guess that anyone that wins the lotto is basically setting them up for a death sentence, basically.
It would be difficult, because it's like, where do you move from there? For me, life is always a constant journey. The moment you're not ascending, obviously you have your ups and downs, but the moment when you look at it on a larger scale over a 20-year period, the moment that 20-year period is showing a downward slope, I think you're on your way out. And it's sad to say, but you are internally killing yourself with negativity, with things that are potentially draining you and could lead to a shorter life or affecting others potentially. So I think if you look at your life at a 10, 20 year window, as long as that scale is going up, you do have your ups, you do have your massive downs as well. As long as that mountain's constantly climbing up, I think you've got a purpose on this earth, and you're benefiting yourself, you're benefiting people around you, and that's how you can truly make something great happen.
I suppose with business in any sort, I mean, I heard this in relation to show business, but in any business, like you said, everyone's going to have ups and downs, and I mean, that's sort of just the way that life is. But I heard someone say once that if you're prepared to stand out in the rain longer than anyone else, then lightning can always strike twice, 3 times, 4 times. But I guess that just goes back to people wanting that short-term hit. They want to win the lotto. They want something. Even someone said, I was doing a show in fucking Ipswich, and someone said to me, if I gave you $1 million, would you live in Ipswich for a year? And I said, no, I'd work really hard for a year and try and get $1 million instead. Fuck living in Ipswich. But yeah, so, I mean, were you always someone, did you know that you were going to be in business from a young age?
I wouldn't say I knew that I was going to be in business from a young age. I knew within me I had what it would take to become one of the greatest people in an industry, whether that was in sport, in business, or something else, motivating people. I knew I had it within me to be something great, something special, because I have a sickening work ethic, and that comes from my parents. My competitive drive is second to none. Like, I don't know, Alex is also highly competitive, but someone who's as competitive as me, who's willing to do what it takes to win. When it was wrestling with my father at a young age, like, I always wanted to beat him, even if I was small.
Bashing,
you know what I mean? Like, we'd be wrestling in the lounge room. He's always trying to make me stronger. He would never let me win until the point that I could actually win. And I think that's given me the mentality to always be first and always aim to become first. So as soon as I knew in football that I wasn't going to become a Cristiano Ronaldo or Lionel Messi, one of the top, most recognized names, I was like, listen, I roll up my sleeves. I started a underage events business first, got that rolling on the Gold Coast, and I thought, this isn't really fulfilling me. It doesn't really give me the motivation to pursue this, to take it further. We had ideas to expand from the Gold Coast, take it to the other states, New South Wales, Melbourne, bigger parties, probably make more money, leverage it a bit more, but it wasn't really fulfilling me. The type of events, the type of work that was going into it, it didn't leave me fulfilled. So as soon as this came up, as soon as this opportunity hit, we went into it 100% with tunnel vision, and what's happened is what we can show for in the past 2.5, 3 years is what passion, desire, and positivity can create. So do you feel like, you know, when you're in, well, firstly, do you believe in do you listen to intuition? Intuition, internal, like my own intuition, 100%. That's whether it comes from hiring somebody, making a decision. I always go with the gut. If I need to address something in life, it comes from the gut. It's not like I read a handbook on, this is how you should hire somebody. They need to do this, this, and this. It's like, if you could have the perfect resume, the perfect CV, come in and present perfectly, dress perfectly, shake my hand perfectly. If something's not right, I just won't go with it, because something in the back of my mind is telling me something that's happened in the past, that someone of this similar nature has either done something to me or not made me feel well, or given me a funny feeling, or done something different to their personality. And that I may lose 10%, 20% of the time on that notion. But when I feel good about something and I go into it feeling well, I'm a big believer on positive energy. And when you put energy towards something, you can make that work. And I think when you've got the positive energy going into something in a positive mindset, you'll make it work. So
is that like a spiritual thing?
See, I don't call myself spiritual.
Are you religious?
No, I'm not religious either.
Okay.
So I wouldn't call myself spiritual or religious. It's just, I think trial and error, the way I've learned from everything. When I've been in a negative place, when I've been depressed at school or not happy for whatever reason, had a bit of anxiety as a kid, whenever I've had that feeling, everything else seems to trickle on and have a negative result.
Yeah,
my football starts to be affected. My relationships start to be affected with my parents, my sister, my friends. The opposite is also true when things are going well, when I'm in a business that's going well, when my day-to-day activities, everything's working well. Obviously, like I said, you have your ups and downs, but when you go into the ups and downs with a positive mindset, the business plan that you had for the business, a new product launch or something, didn't go as expected. A website crash didn't go as expected. A promoter didn't post. You lost a couple $1,000. Didn't go as expected. But you can take it with a positive mind. You see the difference. So I think the first 6 months of High Smile, it was a pivotal part of both mine and Alex's lives and careers and High Smile as a business, because it could have very well went south. There were a lot of things where you're young, you're a kid, you're taking other people's advice as well. You're funneling all this into it, and you're taking these little losses, which are big losses at the time. Like I said, promoters not posting, websites crashing, listening to people's advices, and then that not working, where you just go, listen, we're either going to do this for us and how we think it can work, or we're going to listen to everyone and just not be happy with the end result. And we chose to go our way, feel good about it, and everything works off of that.
So doing this with High Smile or anything, did you feel like at the start you had to upfront money, and it was a big thing where, you know, we're going through it now, where it's like we feel in like deep inside of us that this is going to work out. Yeah. But like, how do you view money and taking a loss at the start and feeling like you're going to make that back tenfold? Like, how do you justify that to yourself?
It's how confident am I in my ability in the field that I'm heading. So how confident I'm not in the teeth whitening game, but at building a brand, in making sales, in building something that people are going to want. And I weigh up the risk. If I'm putting in $10,000, it's different to if I'm putting in $100,000. So it's always a different equation every step of the way. At the start, I put in 10,000, Alex put in 10,000. I'm living at home. I don't have kids. I didn't have a girlfriend at the time. I thought, what is the risk? Do I continue living life as it is and be okay and be mediocre, or am I going to roll up my sleeves and do what I said from day one to be one of the greatest in the industry that I'm going to, whatever industry I choose to go in, and be one of the greatest, roll up the sleeves and take this risk of $10,000 now while I'm living at home, when I'm comfortable, my family's there to support me as well if I need, of course. So yeah, that was a risk I was willing to take.
And I suppose that some people don't want to, most people actually, not some, I would say 95% of people don't want to take the risk, which means, you know, I used to spend a lot of time being not angry at like really, really rich people. I'd be like, oh, corruption and all that. But at the end of the day, I mean, they just took the risk and made something out of themselves, which most people didn't have the fucking balls to do.
100%. And then, like what you said, like a lot of people when they're in a darker place look like, oh, fuck that, why can they do that? It's wrong what Facebook's doing this. But look at the other side of it. Like, the opportunity, the potential's there to do something. Look what Uber did to the cab game. Uber's obliterated the cab game. People say, oh, Uber's this, blah, blah, blah. It's better for the person. Nowadays, any company that is succeeding, the majority of companies, I have to say, are offering more value, providing more value to the end customer, the consumer, us. Like, we're benefiting. We now have Uber Eats as an option, which is something we'd never have before. So it's like, do you want to take that option? No one can complain about the price of them charging you $5 delivery fee. Use someone else or pick it up yourself. Like, you've got the option now. It's not like back in the day where you were told to do this or told to do that. Yes, there is a bit of that in certain countries to an extent, but I think living in Australia, we are quite free with our choice.
I think we're too free. Well, actually, I take that back. I mean, I think we're too lucky at times. I think so many people spend... Fuck, that's going to get taken out of... put that on a current affair. I think we're too lucky at times where... You know, I was reading an article the other day and it said 86% of taxpayer money goes towards welfare and Centrelink, stuff like that, and then the rest of it is for everything else. Now, I'm someone that I'm all for the fact that we've got Centrelink and stuff like that, because there are people out there that genuinely fucking need it.
100%.
But we're so lucky that you can, if you really want to fucking rort the system, it is kind of pretty possible to do if you want to fucking do
There's
it.
plenty out of doing it, yeah.
So how do we get out of, for our generation, how do we pull people out of this mindset of just living life as it is and getting up and doing something and helping evolve mankind together? Like, time is money. And like you said with Uber, I mean, everything's moving forward, but fuck, there's some cunts that are slowing everyone down.
100%, and I agree. I think what we can do, like you said, there are the slugs and the majority who are trying. It's almost like a dead weight, not moving, not really doing too much for society, not doing much for themselves first.
That's
and
the problem.
It comes back to that same point. Do something for yourself that makes you feel good. A simple hello, a simple thank you. Interact with people, engage with positive people, and the rest will flow on. But I think the root is when a child is raised from a young age. I'm not a parent, so I'm not speaking of experience. Not that I know of.
A little kid running around the UK.
In the UK.
Wanting to play for Celtics right
now. Oh, shit, Scotland.
Okay.
No, okay. Back to...
Yeah.
Not that, yeah. So not that I've got experience in that regard, but when you're raising a child, I think it's important to instill the confidence and self-belief in that kid. I think you have to give both sides. You have to instill the confidence and self-belief, but also be critical and not... These days, like, the one thing I think is incorrect with the schooling system, any system, is like everyone's given a medal, everyone's given this participation thing, everyone's given a pat on the back. And I think it's good to an extent. That does instill a little bit of confidence, but it gives you a bit of false hope as well.
Yeah.
So I think people need to realize from a young age, you can be whatever you want to be, for sure. But once you go down a path and you see, maybe I'm not suited to this, maybe I just can't do it. I know whatever it takes, I will not be the best singer in the world. I know I will not be the best NBA player. I'm just not given the genetical advantage in that field. So it's like, understand where your strengths are. As you're raising a kid, give them the confidence, I think, as well as the realistic side. Where are their strengths? Where are their weaknesses? And be honest with them as well. So I think these participation medals, the second place trophies, I don't think help.
No, I don't think so.
In the long run, anyway.
And I've heard people say before that they feel like, it's not me saying this, but they feel like their problems with some parents these days is the fact that we have a society that's obsessed, absolutely obsessed with focusing and trying to be better at things that we're not good at. And whether that be physical appearance, my lips aren't big enough, or just in general, we'll spend more time working on shit that we're not good at when really everyone's pretty much good at one or two things. They know that that's their main two things that they're good at. And normally they're your hobbies.
Exactly.
That's why you enjoy doing them, because you're good at it. So why aren't we spending more time trying to teach young people to go, if you're fucking good at video gaming, well, guess what? There's fucking esport. You can make money in that. Like, I had this one kid, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I just did a big old spit. I had this one kid that came up after a show, and he looked like he'd been pretty affected by drugs, and he'd got into drug dealing. He'd been to jail once before for selling ice and that. And I said, what do you want to do with your life? And he said, if I could do anything, I'd go and rescue tigers in Thailand or something like that. And I was like, well, what's going on in his head where he thinks that he can't do that, but realistically there's more risk involved in dealing ice and stuff like that? He's already taking a bigger risk now. How the fuck do you reframe someone from getting out of these, like, probably not?
The belief, again, I think every question comes back to that circle. Like, who do you see? It's like, as a kid, whether it's a positive or negative, as a kid, you see your friends or the people, like at school, there's a lot of people at school. And are you the person who's the social butterfly, who's kind of friends with everybody? Or have you got your circle and you're socially accepting of everybody, which I was. I had my small circle and I was accepting of everybody. I would conversate, but at the end of the day, I had my circle of friends. And I think that is super important. Back in the day, you'd live in smaller tribes. That's how we operated. You had the tribes that you trust. They're your people. And obviously back in the day, if they weren't your people, you'd stay off, or you'd keep your distance, or there would be a fight between the two different tribes because you had differing beliefs and values. And I think that's what makes a tribe, or that's what makes your inner circle, your beliefs and values. So back to your question is, if your beliefs and values are not aligned with the majority of people that you're spending time with, that's when you don't have your tunnel vision. That's where you sort of have that wandering eye where you're constantly looking at what the next shiny thing is. This person did really well in gymnastics, I'm going to give that a go. Oh, this person getting so much praise because they topped they're in the debating team and they came first. They're getting so much recognition. They're the popular kid. I'm going to do that. This person, it's not that they're cool because they won the debating contest, or they're cool because they're the number one swimmer in the school. They're cool because they are focused on their craft and they are the best at it. That's why they're cool. It's not because of one thing or the other. So I think if you've got a large circle of people, that's where you get sort of this wandering eye, where you're sort of constantly looking around, looking for the next shiny object or the next strong person to gravitate towards and attract yourself to. So, and I think that starts at a young age. It's about, I don't know how, like, I don't know if it was through my parents, the way I was raised, but it must have been, I just inherently, just took to the liking of having a small group of friends. It's always been the way I've been.
Did you ever have any pushback, not necessarily from close friends, but you know, when you start to succeed, obviously in anything that you do, you start to get people in what you were talking about with that wandering eye, starting to get envious then, and people that maybe you went to school with or people that you vaguely knew. Did you ever find that you had pushback? People go, yeah,
of course, and to this day you get that.
I'm sure still.
It's the way you funnel it. I funnel it as energy. The more people that talk or mention your name and bring it up, it's like that's energy towards me. And now the bigger we get, the more I'm featuring on your podcast. I'm on Channel 7 News last night.
Well, I don't know if we're up near with 7 News, mate, but
but every bit counts towards getting your name out there, building your personal brand, and touching people out there as well.
Bill Cosby. Bad joke.
Maybe I use the wrong word.
Yeah, don't use that one. See, I told you I'm the problem. You didn't say it was me. But,
Oh shit, I lost my trail of thought now.
I do that. So, I don't know, let's go deeper. What do you watch anything on TV, or do you try and stay away from?
I don't think I avoid it, but for some reason I just go with what my gut tells me and what I want to do, and nothing on TV gravitates towards me. Watch a little bit of YouTube, things like that.
Who do you watch?
What do I watch on YouTube? Let's see. Now I like a bit of UFC just because of Conor McGregor. So I watch a little bit of him trash talking.
Is that because of the mindset though?
100% the mindset. Yeah. So I wasn't a fan of UFC. I now am, or MMA. I now am because of Conor McGregor. I think the guy's got a killer mindset, like in comparison to a lot of people out there.
It's amazing.
He's bulletproof, and everything he's said, like I can just relate to a lot of situations that he's had where we've visualized things like like things that we say now sound crazy to what's going to happen in the future. But we were saying the same thing from day one. When we launched the company, we were telling our parents, like, we're going to need an office for this, a warehouse. We're going to be selling globally. This is going to be this is going to be $1 billion company, we knew from day one. And then they're like, what are you talking about? We're still saying we're going to be $1 billion company. We're not there yet, but everyone starts slowly. Some people start to believe. People are still skeptical, but it's cool. I'm not too bothered, but it's like you turn over $1 million, you move into an office, move into a bigger space, moving into another space, get 24 employees, get 50 employees, 100, then all of a sudden you start to get more believers. And what do believers do? That's double the energy. When people start to believe, it's even more energy. People are putting it out there that High Smile, the $1 billion company, future $1 billion company, High Smile turning over $20 million, $40 million, High Smile based on the Gold Coast, global empire, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden it becomes something. I think that's what Conor McGregor's done well. And I didn't know who Conor McGregor was when we started the company. When did I sort of start watching his fights? Back in 2015, so maybe a year after we launched, and it was just like what gravitated was the relation, where I could relate to him. People look at him for the wrong reason, like his trash talking is hilarious, and I like that.
Yeah,
you don't have to like that to respect him. No, I respect him not for that. I respect him for his mindset. Everything he sets out to do, he gets done. The trash talking, belittling people, and stuff like that that's a part of the game. That's a part of his character. That's a part of his package.
It's WWE. It's entertainment. We have to remember that it's real fighting. The only difference between WWE and MMA or UFC is they needed that. They fucking need that. But obviously you've seen that compilation video of him basically almost telling... He knows exactly what he's going to do. He has a plan and he executes that plan all the time. And I'm sure there's times where maybe... it doesn't go exactly to plan, but he's so into it that it pretty much always goes to fucking plan.
It pretty much does, and if you slightly veer to the right of his plan, it's still a good outcome. So,
what do you think of? Okay, this is what I'm going to ask. I'm not going to ask you what do you think of the fight that's coming up, but do you feel like it is a legitimate fight, or do you feel like it's 60 to 70% going? Yeah, this is one of the best marketing. This is going to be one of the biggest grossing things. Like he'd be stupid to not do it.
100%.
Where do you think it weighs?
Where does it weigh?
Is he more in it for the fight, or is it more whatever happens with
what
the
I
fight's fine?
truly believe, so I'm not a fighter, so anyone who's out there,
Well, I am. So, as you can tell, in the pink distressed. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not really a fighter. I don't know the technical aspects, so I'm not going to comment on that. Who's going to win, whatever. I truly believe, if my judgment of Conor is correct, and why I've been watching his videos and following him for the past 2 years, is that he is truly doing. Obviously, the money is a thing, and that's why he put the energy out there. But I think deep down, he wants to win this fight, and he wanted this fight to leave a legacy, because what happens if you win is so much greater than what happens if you lose.
Yeah.
Again, back to
And
when I
it's not
started
money.
business, the risk reward, the reward is much greater than the risk for him. So you take it for sure. But deep down, you take that fight. It's back to the lotto situation.
Yeah.
You could. I'm sure he could make I'll tell you, he could make $100 million making movies. The guy could be the next villain in James Bond.
Yeah.
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
He could be whatever he wants to be. He could make the $100 million without getting a scratch on his face.
Yeah.
But this is his this is what gives him passion. If he can knock Floyd Mayweather out, as he says he's going to do, like, what's stopping him from doing that?
I'd love to see it.
You know what I mean? Like, I would we're going to go over. We're going to go see it. So
You're going to go see it?
We're going to go see it.
Yeah.
So
Geez, that'd be something to go see.
It should be good. It should be good.
Is that something like, what's sort of one of the things that you've done, and obviously, you know, since the business has been successful, you've obviously done a few things, like maybe buy your car, which is obviously a really nice, expensive car.
Yeah.
There's things. What are the moments that you've had where you've gone, fuck, this is cool. This is crazy. I didn't think I'd be like here, like going to that fight, and you'd probably have good seats. I'd be fucking just outside watching it on the monitor with Connor trying to do a podcast out the front of it. Hey, over here, mate. From Australia. 4,000 views. Get over here. But, yeah, is that a moment going over there? Is that going to be
That would be cool, but I don't know. It's really weird, and it's hard for me to put into words, because it's like we never have these moments where we really settle and go, oh, we're so lucky to be where we're at, because every step of the way was visualized, pre-planned and calculated, and we knew we were going to get there before we even got there. So it's like where we're at now, we know where we're going to be in a year, 2 years. It's like we're moving on for that. So we definitely celebrate. Like you said, we purchase nice cars. If you buy
What's
a home.
the coolest shit? That's probably the best.
What's the coolest
shit you've done?
We've done, okay.
Since you've been at, like, so far, knowing that you're going to be able to do even more cooler shit later on.
Oh, we've got some cool things coming up. Let's see. Car, house with my family, a few trips overseas, internationally. What are some of the cool things that we've done? Obviously, for me, the coolest thing is High Smile. The coolest thing is High Smile being a global company. So getting that from nothing to something, and then now taking it to become the everything of the oral hygiene space. So I think that's the coolest thing, because it's constantly cool. The car's cool, you get in it, but after a month, I'll be serious. It's another car. Another thing. It feels good, but it's just another thing. Same thing in house. It's all cool. Cool clothes. I like buying nice clothes, nice shoes. That's cool. But the one thing that constantly keeps me driving is High Smile, because it's the thing that you can constantly grow. Not only grow us personally, not only grow the company, the money that comes in, the brand, but the people within. Having the ability to assist people and grow their careers and make them a part of something greater than just work, I think is an unbelievable feeling, because that's a human interaction. It's not a number in the bank account. It's not just a smile on your face. It's smiles on other people's faces, and seeing other people who are motivated to drive and push High Smile and push themselves and push their team further. So I think that's the most amazing thing.
What's it like going? Was it a risk going, we're going to give Kylie Jenner $300,000 to promote it? Like, what's going through your mind when you do something like that? Because you're probably going, I mean, you would have looked at the risk and reward thing again. But you probably get that question a lot.
Yeah, so we've worked with some big promoters. We've got some big names coming up very, very soon, which I want to plug now. I really want to plug now, but I can't.
I'm here. So.
I can't. When it comes out, you'll flip. You'll flip when it comes out. But Kylie Jenner is... Yeah, so back to Kylie Jenner. Sorry, I was just getting excited in my head playing over this situation. Yeah, the risk is big, but it was a calculated risk because we knew we weren't looking for the ROI. So back to business and business terminology, like we weren't looking for that return on investment from her posts. It was us knowing we're at a stage in our business and our careers and our understanding. We knew what to do with that content.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It was we knew how to distribute that content that we didn't really matter. It was just a bonus that she was posting it to her 78 million followers, whatever she had. That was the bonus. So the moment we could accept that, we're willing to take the risk because we didn't see the risk there.
So yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, even if 4 people bought something out of that $300,000, I mean, the exposure level, you wouldn't be able to pay a fucking NBC in the United States $300,000 to send it out to that many people. So yeah, I totally get your mind frame by that. Have you ever had like older business people that just, you know, people that come from a different era that just cannot fathom any, like, have you come up against minds where they just don't get it and they'll never get it?
Close to it? Oh, 100%. But no one that's really been combative with me. Like I don't in that field, I don't try to prove my point to anybody. The proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the result. So when someone says this works, this doesn't work, let the market decide. We'll see. Like, let's see if it works. You could be right and well done. I could be right and well done, but who cares? Like at the end of the day, don't let your ego, back to like that slight spirituality, like don't let your ego affect your decision making. I've been wrong so many times in this business, and same as Alex, same as other people within the business. The thing that's allowed us to succeed and move forward and grow is because we take that loss and we move in the direction that was correct.
Yep.
And we don't let it affect our ego. If we went down the path that I thought was correct, I don't let my ego be affected and try hammer my head into a wall until it kind of works.
Yep.
I let it go and I move down the other path, and I think that's important.
Now, I know you probably don't want to harp on about it, but so for people out there, because a lot of people struggle with taking a loss.
Yeah.
They just give up and it's the be all and end all. So what was a loss that you had here? Like a decision that you guys made where you went, oh, maybe that's not the right one. And then how did you then revert that energy and turn it into a positive?
Okay, it's hard to put a loss there. I think the loss as a big sort of topic. The biggest loss was within that first 6 months, focusing on what other companies were doing. Okay. And to me, that was a loss.
Not running your own race.
Not running our own race. So we went into it, and naturally you want to make sales. You don't, and then all of a sudden you start going towards these brands that have been around for 12 months. It's back to that point where people see on Instagram someone with a flashy car and don't see the work that happened. You see the end result. Same thing, you see these companies, more web traffic, more sales, bigger promoters, more likes, whatever it may be on the Instagram, and you want to become that. And it's like the moment you want to become that, you will beat them at their game. You're focusing so much on being them. But if they're a true brand, true business, they'll be the sum total of everything, and they'll be bigger than you. Or if you're focusing on them and they're the same thing as you, they're focusing on someone else and they didn't really know how to run their race. You guys hit a brick wall, and another company comes up and they're focused on themselves. They're running their own race. They're willing to take the loss, the ups, the downs. You can't always be on a rise. They're running their own race. Same as, like, you look at the best brands. Apple know that they probably don't have the best phone, but yet the most people buy Apple phones because they're not selling that. They're selling the brand. And by doing that, they're willing to accept that, Samsung's got a better camera than us. Samsung's got a better operating system than us. We're okay with that. That's not what we're selling. We're Apple. You don't want Apple? That's fine. Whereas Samsung, from what it appears, is like, we've got the best thing. We're better than Apple, blah, blah, blah. You should buy our stuff. Apple's like, if you're an Apple person, buy Apple. And the majority of people become an Apple person.
Are you an Apple person? Or
Definitely.
Yeah, me too.
Everything's Mac, everything's Apple. It's just clean. It just looks good. I could not think of anything worse, to be honest.
Me too.
And that's how crazy brand is. Yeah. Like, I'm not a tech head, so I'm not too biased on like the specs, the features, but Apple is clean. Everything from customer care to the product.
Yeah, the whole thing works. There's people that take that shit real seriously.
They love it.
Like, it's like worse than fucking like feminists versus anti-feminist. Like, people take it really to heart. But yeah, I mean, I remember getting my first iMac, I think it was. And like, I really had to sell it to my mum because at the time we had to get a new computer, and I might have been like 12 or 13 and I wanted it for the webcam so I could make fucking videos on photo booth. And or you'd have a new fucking profile picture on Facebook with just you and them. Anyway,
the MySpace days.
Yeah, but
Mark still got MySpace.
Do you really? Is that still around? So what? Okay,
No, I don't know. I don't know about
good,
MySpace.
Good point to bring up. What happens when you have something like MySpace, where it's all going really well, and they expanded really quickly, very fast, with all the energy that they had, and it was almost like part of their, they exhausted themselves too quickly, and they never did put enough back into the product. I don't think they just sort of stuck with it being. Yeah, Facebook's constantly changing all the time. How do you make sure in business that someone doesn't come along and, like with Facebook, kind of take a little bit of your business model and the blueprint and then make that better? Because Apple does that with all their stuff. They'll steal and then make it better.
So with us, that's a really good question. I think it's the most important thing in business. It's to constantly challenge yourself and innovate, because you can't wait for others to challenge you because they're already on the front foot. It's like you're starting a race. They've already started jogging. Like, they're on the jogging start and you're a standing start. It's like that person's got the advantage. They've got momentum. So it's like, challenge yourself. I'll give you a classic example. We relaunched our toothpaste just last Tuesday. Everything was going well. We've got a lot of customers. Everyone's happy with our current model. 2 days later, we changed the model. We changed it to cancel any time. Money back guarantees, the way the system looks, the way it operates, just because it was something that we felt the website needed, something that we, not just from what customers were saying, it was just a need for us to constantly innovate, and we're in the process of doing that. It doesn't mean the change happens overnight or the next day. It might be something where we roll out in a week, in a month, in a year, but we're constantly looking at innovating our products. We've just brought out the toothpaste. We're looking, what's the next product? How can we better that toothpaste? How can we better the kit? How can we better our other products? How can we be a better version of High Smile, rather than how can we be better than Colgate, Oral-B, or any of these other companies?
So it's a subscription service, is it?
The toothpaste is a subscription.
What a very smart thing to do. Everyone's going, I pay for Apple Music, Spotify, all these different things, because it's just a subscription service. It's so much easier for me to do that, and it feels safer, even though it probably isn't on my bank. It feels like, oh, okay, I've got that sorted. It's easy.
It sorts itself out.
So you've got a toothpaste out, and it's day and night.
Day and night.
You are a fucking smart motherfucker. Day and night toothpaste. How did Colgate or any of these people not come up with that shit? Now, and I'm going to preface this because there's going to be people out there, so I'll say it for them.
Okay.
What is the difference? Because if I saw that on the shelf at the shop and I had no idea who you were or anything, I'd be like, don't ever buy that. That is such bullshit.
Yeah.
What the fuck is day and night toothpaste?
That's why we don't sell it on the shelves.
Okay.
So we've been offered shelf space, Priceline, a few stores over in the UK, US. And for that very reason, the question you've just asked, we don't sell on the shelves because of that. We need to pre-educate people of our products. We're not bringing out your stock standard Colgate $2 toothpaste, $2 toothbrush, $2 whitening kit. We are not that company. We're a brand that brings out high quality products, that innovates, brings out unique products as well. So the day and night toothpaste, the reason we brought that out is it's a process. When you whiten your teeth, the one thing people are getting, they have to constantly buy the gels, and everyone drinks coffee, everyone loves tea. So we don't want people to stop that. You need to enjoy your coffee. You need to enjoy your life. You need to live a little. But your teeth stain. So the day toothpaste protects. So the carnauba wax, which protects your teeth during the day. And the night toothpaste whitens. Right. So you protect and you whiten.
Yep.
So it's about retraining people and getting them to rethink the way they're brushing their teeth and reinvent that a bit. It was something that we've been working on that product for 12 to 18 months. It was a product that's been in the works. We always knew we were going to bring out a toothpaste. A toothpaste is something that everyone uses. It's something that everyone uses daily, and we didn't want to bring it out until we could bring something out that would make a difference. We have absolutely no interest in bringing out a standard flossing kit. Yeah, it's like, why would we whack the High Smile logo on that? It's not High Smile. It's not us. It wouldn't make me excited. It wouldn't get the customers excited. It would almost feel like we're ripping the customers off a little bit by getting just a stock standard flossing kit. It's like, let's reinvent that. If we're going to bring out floss, let's do it our way. What's the High Smile way? What's the way you can do that? And if you look at any great company, they do that. Nike doesn't just bring out running shoes. They bring out Nike running shoes. Are they the best running shoes? That's subjective. That's up to you to decide. But they're Nike running shoes. Adidas bring out their style and so on. So I think that Yeah, that's the importance.
It's smart. So you want to be able to look at, I mean, in everything, there's so many different products out there that just haven't been revolutionized. Like I saw a current affair story. So sometimes I get stoned and just watch a current affair because I'm sure that that's what the show's made for. There's no way that anyone watches that show and goes, this is the truth. But there was a story about a guy in Melbourne, an Indian guy that's like 50, who had a convenience store. He ripped everything out of that store and then he put everything in vending machines, right? Okay. He doesn't have to have any staff. He can sit at home and watch it from security camera and just press a button if he sees someone stealing. He's eliminated all theft. He's placed the store right next door to 7-Eleven, but it sells everything that a 7-Eleven would, and it's all out of a vending machine. Now, I was watching, I was like, this guy's incredibly smart. Of course, that's where the future's going. Imagine if Woolworths was all just vending and no staff. But the problem is, I'm looking at the vending machines and I'm like, there's never been like a revolution in making these things
something more
better, more convenient and less, because I'm sure there'd be issues with,
maintenance and all that type
maintenance of stuff. So you're really in an industry of getting things and making them better.
100%. I think that's what business is about. Like I said, with social media, there's pros and cons. A pro is, if you take it as a pro, is we're so much more connected to the world. We see what's happening in the UK and the US. So our company, if we want to be a global company, is competing at a global scale. We're not competing with our next door neighbor. We're competing with everybody. So by doing that, you have to provide the best product, the best service, or whatever it is that you're doing. You have to try and be the best or stand for something that people are going to be attracted to. And that's all we're doing. We're building a brand that has something to stand for, spreading smiles, spreading positivity, and bringing out products that are innovative and that are new to the market. And then, having the customers on board that jump on board and, advocates for the brand.
Is that where you think business is going for our generation of entrepreneurs and stuff like that? It's going to be, everything's basically been invented. The foundation of everything's been invented now. So are what we're going to see with our generation just people getting things and making them even better instead of invention? It's more...
I think for the majority, and that's where I would put my focus, it's how do you innovate? Can you innovate that? Why try to recreate the wheel? For me anyway, that's not where my skills are. I'm not the person to recreate the wheel. I'm the person to see the wheel and be like, okay, these are the errors, the faults with the wheel. This is what people are saying, and recreate that and bring out something better. The teeth whitening kit, people were noticing sensitivity issues. The time to whiten your teeth was 60 minutes, sometimes overnight. That's 2 issues straight away off the bat that can we fix that? Let's work with the right people. Let's work with the right manufacturers, the right chemists to get something created that will remove those issues, remove those problems. And then let's bring out something that looks cool as well and is something that people are going to want to keep on their bathroom bench, want to show their friends at the same time. So it's about mixing the two for us.
And I suppose you've not just done that with a product, but you've started a social... 10 years ago, I don't think anyone gave a fuck how white their teeth were, and you've sort of, to credit to you, you've gone, well, actually, it's important. You don't have to be a celebrity anymore to have white teeth. Last year, I went to the dentist and I paid $800
to get them whitened.
To get them whitened, and it hurt.
It kills. It goes right through.
Yeah, it actually really stings, and they sit it there for like he just said, oh, here you go, that'll be there for a while. You just sit there,
sit with the light,
sitting there, and I'm like, oh, this is easy, and then it would start to sting a little,
zing, and it just tings off your nerves.
Really bad. I left going, fucking shit, these are white.
They're white.
Great. So what's the difference between that and spending $800 on a dentist doing it, and how much? What are your price point?
Our teeth whitening kit, is $80.
Okay, so
Australian.
So a massive difference. Can you confidently say that you can provide the same, if not better?
We can definitely provide the same results. So we do not include peroxide in our product, so we do not cause any sensitivity to the teeth or the gums. So that's different to the dentist. Theirs is a stronger formula. The one thing with the dentist compared to ours is the dentist's results will last longer. But that's why we're constantly bringing out products that will maintain your results. We've got subscription for the gels. We've got coconut whitening mouthwash. We've got our toothpaste as well to maintain your results. Our results will last a few months. But the dentist will just last that bit longer due to the chemicals and the formulas that they use and the power of their light and the fact that it is $800.
Yeah.
So the option's there, like for anybody. If they want to go to the dentist and do it in chair and do that method, then that's up to them, of course. And if they want to go down the other path and give High Smile a go, that's their choice.
And I mean, anyone can do it though as well.
That's the thing. Like that dentist has their pros, they've got their cons, we've got our pros as well.
Yeah.
So you can do ours from the comfort of your own home. Like you said, you watch a current affair, you can sit down, watch TV, listen to this podcast. Watch this podcast while you're whitening your teeth from home. It's only 10 minutes and
You're selling it well, aren't you? That'd be a sight to see. Maybe we'll go shoot that after and we can overlay me stoned on the bed with a fucking light in my mouth watching a current affair.
We can use it for some promo, do you reckon, Mark?
Yeah.
Chuck it in a vid somewhere.
Yeah, you'd get better hits than Kylie, that's for sure. Wouldn't cost you a cent either.
Josh.
Nah, yeah. All right, well, Nick, thanks for coming on to chat. I love what you're doing, and I think it's really good that, I think it was Gary again. Gary's been a massive thing in my life where it changed my entire mindset, and I used to think all that sort of stuff, and what you're doing, you're doing your speeches and that now. I think that's going to help a lot of people, because I used to just think it was all bullshit. I was very cynical of anyone like Tony Robbins or anything like that, and just thought this is just crap. But I don't think it is anymore, and it's changed my mindset, and I need it. I need to hear some of that stuff every day, and you've definitely, I think there's going to be people that watch this that will take something from what you said. I definitely have. I mean, what's next for High Smile?
Awesome.
What's next for you?
What's next for me personally? For High Smile, we're moving into a new office space. Obviously, just launched a new product. We're constantly innovating on that front, on the website front, on the back end business development front. What can we do to provide a better service for our customers? So that's next for us. The long-term vision, the long-term goal is to be one of those top 5 companies. We keep saying the $1 billion company that will take us
in the entire world.
In the entire world, that's up there with the Apples, the Nikes, McDonald's, and people think it's crazy, but
no. I believe, mate, you've done the hard work so far. I think the start is the hardest part. Now it's just about fucking growing.
100%.
What's next for you?
For me personally, I started the personal brand as a bit of a challenge for myself to put out a bit of content, get a bit more comfortable in front of the camera, on the stage, test myself, test my marketing abilities as well as the team internally. It's different when you're building a personal brand to a product-based brand like High Smile, a brand that sells something as opposed to a brand that I don't sell anything. There's a lot of challenges with it. There's a lot of pros and cons again, and it's a different task. I started as that, and now it's something that I enjoy. And the true reason why I continue to do it is I really, really like when people say thank you. So I really like when people say thank you and are happy with it. Obviously, you have the people who hate and the people who are positive, but it all comes in together. And the people that say thank you is what I do it for. So
yep. All right, Nick, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks, Josh.
And I guess this is the end. So we'll put your social media stuff in there.
Awesome.
And whatnot. But thanks for watching.
Sounds good.